Hi, hello, and welcome to the Lunar Lounge brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Abundance. I'll be your oracle today. And I was sent to talk a little bit about and deliberate a little bit about the moon. You know, the last lunar event, which was the new moon in Pisces, happened on the 2nd. We here on the channel didn't make it. The cast Lunar Lounge didn't make it to the channel in time. There's been an abundance of work and TDM, and me personally, yours truly, me, Ablosi. I'm doing a lot of things myself. I've been in a rest phase. Okay, so the spirit pushed me over here to talk about the moon, and I have some tools, techniques, technologies that I'll use. We'll talk this abstractly with the channel, and then I'll pull through with any kind of divination. Something's happened. There was some kind of trigger, timing, and that's funny because the video was missed. It would have been great if, you know, around the 26th, 27th, a new moon video came out. That didn't happen. And I'm talking about in February. So even me, myself, Ablosi, I thought the lunar event was the 6th. And then it just popped up on the 2nd. So again, for me, that's not checking in with my intuition because something told me around the 28th of February or the 1st of March to check in with the lunar energies, and it was time to work on that. And I was just otherwise occupied doing whatever it is I was doing. So let's just check in with what this trigger was. I'm curious. Well, there's a fullness of whatever it is we have to go through. That's really what it is. We have a fortuna, some type of pivotal moment, pivotal change. Militares come out here, but we're looking at the constellation. My mind is already taken in this channel. Something's come through and some information needs to come out. Otherwise, time takes too much time. And I have some knowledge that I uniquely am skilled or well suited to transmit. I do have some knowing, and mainly something a little bit awful happened, maybe even disgraceful or malcontented. There's a malcontentment here. Spiritually, the oracles, the guides need some messages to come through. They're overly mature. So me personally, what I know is this is only going to make it to a few people. So even if one person sees this video, whoever gets it is whoever needs it. I'm happy to do this and you're welcome. I'm confused. I don't know what that means. It feels like I'm being guided to this talk directly to somebody. So that means the messages are going to be rather specific. And there is a vividness of knowledge coming through right now. I feel like there's an openness to information that I don't normally have, that I wouldn't normally detect. It is, there's a reservoir of information. We have La Stella, the star here. There's a reservoir of information here, and I'm guided to complete something, make some kind of works. Yeah, we're collectively beginning a pilgrimage, and we shouldn't be in the dark about this pilgrimage. As a collective, we're going to a higher vibration. There's a bit of an ascent collectively. Have also the King of Pentacles. So we have the Star and the King of Pentacles. everybody collectively is getting to a higher level. I'm hearing higher. And we should become aware of that, bring that awareness to the forefront. Maybe not be so passive in this getting higher. I have now the Ace of Pentacles. The world, Wheel of Fortune, La Fortuna again. So we have La Fortuna twice. La Ruota. There's a shifting and turning of the wheel. The gate is open. The seal's being broken. But you knew that already. Now, when we came to each other, or when you came to this awakening, awareness, ascension, acclamation of your standards and boundaries, and the knowledge of your true nature and your purpose here, there was a manifestation. It was subtle at first. It was passive at first on a soul level. And now it's beginning to take either shape, form, or have a bite to it, its own nature. This independence or this growth or this maturity, because it's our souls come to sit with us again. It's almost like we sent our spirit, we sent ourselves, we sent our soul out there, searching, looking, yearning, wandering, hoping, wishing, conjuring up some wounding from the past, really. And it was the conditioning, the programming, the socialization, the tis, the mother, daddy, teacher, preacher, all these filters of reality, these mechanisms of a system, a structure, a Kabbalah, a colonization, if you would. And it's the science books, the history books, the religious books, you know, the controllers of this, the mother, daddy, teacher, preacher. There was some kind of mechanistic, systemic breaking of the spirit, breaking of the authentic nature, instilling some kind of, I'm hearing the word drone. We were either droned out where our mind, our soul was lulled to sleep, or we became some type of cog in a machine where our nature was that of being driven. This has been broken. It was almost as if a spell or a curse. It's been broken, not lifted as it would, but broken. So that's some of what we're going through right now. And you see Pisces, new moon Pisces, when the moon is new in Pisces, we begin a cycle of taking knowledge in the self, taking refuge in the self, taking sanctuary in the self. It's really the journey and the knowledge of the self. It's standing in soul's wisdom. And you see the Pisces card, La Luna, the moon. It means confronting the self, dark journey of the soul, going to the depths of the soul. It could mean the subconscious. This will keep me from going off the deep end, deep into some kind of intuitive channel, just timing this up. Also have some astrological stuff to go through. We're late, so we're going to change the format. We'll turn to scheduled format. The videos will come out a bit earlier. So the moon is about a journey into the subconscious as well. It could talk about hysteria, it could talk about menopause, it could talk about womanly issues, womanly nature. It can talk about femininity, felicity. It can talk about females, women. It doesn't talk about a specific woman, and we'll talk a little bit about a collective, a generality, mainly because this is a Vestal command, meaning some kind of triune, meaning 3, 6, or 9. Now, the 9s are very, very independent, very, very isolated, or very, very much standing in some type of power or knowledge, even if it's not independent. If it is not independent, the number 9, it is talking about independently standing in something, meaning you and your connection, you and your power, you and your standing in said power. So this 9 is about the universe or spirit or the simulator, the system, the structure, the environment, surrounding location, mirroring something back to you, or it talks about the subconscious. Typically, it's a ritual or a confrontation. So the ritual confrontation, it's always going to be there, even if it isn't in fact a ritual or confrontation. And then the ritual and confrontation would be just the consciousness experience itself. Okay, so question so far, what is the consciousness experience? Is it the subconscious? Does it have to do with femininity or women? Is it some type of dark journey of the soul? Is it confronting something, maybe something hidden, something illusionary, something delusional? Is it intuitive, or is it some type of mania, some type of hysteria? Now we get into a little bit more of the sinister nature. Is it a delusion? Is it some willful ignorance, willful delusion? Is it some type of addiction? Is there some type of darkness, meaning darkness of the past, some type of past secret, hidden secret, maybe in the closet, skeleton in the closet, secret in the closet? Oftentimes it could be a family secret. It might have to deal with the past, maybe a past lifetime or early developmental stages. It can also talk about sorcery, because now we're looking at more of the shadow aspects. Okay, so this is Pisces. So at its most high vibration, it's a journey into the depths of the soul. And if you can see it from a higher perspective that it is a dark journey of the soul, it would be just bracing for the storm, usually like a winter. Now there's two cards of going through winter, the other being the Hermit. They both equal number 9. This is the moon. Number 18 equals 9. This winter is being out in the cold, very similar to the 5 of Pentacles that has to deal with just the color black here. There's a lot of darkness. Things are in the dark. There's a very illusionary light, and you need to understand your relationship to that light. Can you trust that light? Is that light yourself? You're not looking at that light as a source, are you? Otherwise, the source you're getting is just understanding illusions, that everything's illusionary. There's not a lot of trust here, like in this energy. Because you can trust what you see in the daylight and the not so much in the night. So this is what we have going on when the moon is new, when there's a new moon in Pisces. It's first of all conjunct the sun. The sun is planting seeds. And when the sun is in Pisces, it literally talks about sacrifice. Now, all types of words come up with sacrifice, both good and bad. We have the sun in the back of the deck. So now we have the Judgment card. You know, really it's about planting seeds of sacrifice, planting seeds of wisdom. Typically sacrifices for the generation, for the collective. Sacrifices may be something as simple as, oh, I'm about to start doing spring cleaning because Aries is right around the corner. Let me start emptying my closet, maybe donate these clothes to charity. That's the first version of sacrifice, some kind of surrender. Now, typically we've been in this either reaping or harvesting mode, meaning either we're putting a lot of money out, expenses, both known and unknown expenses, or there's a lot coming in. We're being given a lot from other sources. And usually something about this energy we weren't so much trying to do, meaning we didn't have an active participation in it. There was something passive about it. Now, I do want to say the caveat right now is you may have some special kind of chart. The energy may be hitting you differently. I do want to say also that that would make your chart special. This is the most collective energy. If it doesn't resonate this month, it may resonate with you next month, or last month's may resonate with you. Just check to know if we're a good fit, if we resonate together, if we vibe well together. Because we may be vibing together and this one may be a little bit wonky because you're a special kind of Piscean. Otherwise, it just means your chart works well for you and Pisces. Otherwise, how Pisces is going to be hitting most of us right now, the Piscean energy for most of us is going to work right now as if we've been having to serve, sacrifice, surrender, or suffer. up until recently. And over the next week, we will be having surety over what's coming to us. And not always is what coming to us going to be something being actually given, especially tangible, especially with the moon. Usually it's a soul type of thing, a subtle type of thing, and not a manifest type of thing. And especially with the new moon, it's not so much manifest, it's more latent, although it's conjunct to the sun. When the moon is new, it means it's conjunct to the sun, and like full means it's opposing. So the sun is planting seeds of like, hey, have this consciousness awareness, have this intellect, reason, and communication, this, franchise, self-autonomy, self-governance, self-mastery, this joyful, boundless freedom in respect to divinity, in respect to serenity, in respect to humanity, in respect to altruism, in respect to higher, usually God. Now, when we think about the Piscean energy, we have two cards that come up right away. For me personally, and then there's some tertiary, mainly one. So 3 cards altogether. Firstly, I think of, when Pisces, I think of the Hierophant always. Because the Hierophant, yes, astrologically is Taurus, but alchemically, zodiac-wise, actually zodiac is Taurus, but astrologically, alchemically, it's either the Sun in Sagittarius or Jupiter in Pisces. So when I hear Pisces, for me, I think about the Hierophant just because of me and my work personally, how my energy works. When I need to be reminded of Pisces, the Hierophant will come out. Now, for many folks, normally it won't. What'll come out is the Moon card or the Hangman. So the Moon card actually represents Pisces, and that's Sun in the 8th house, Moon in the 12th house of Scorpio, or just generally the astrological energy of the zodiac energy of Pisces. That'll be the Moon card. It's usually about confronting something typically from your subconscious, or some kind of fear, or something that's hidden, something that's an illusion or a secret, or it's a dark journey of the soul. Typically, that's what the Moon card means. And there's other things, but they're additives that you add to other cards. Now, when I say the Hangman, it talks about a surrender, a sacrifice, and that's what the 12th house is. So I have Pisces with the Moon card, and I have God with the Hierophant, or contact with God, and then I also have the 12th house. So all that's coming through right now. With the Hangman, you have the 12th house. So all that's coming through right now, mainly that we've been surrendering or sacrificing, and some of us have been suffering up until recently. And the seeds have been planted. Now that the sun is in Pisces, we're going to begin to reap these spiritual seeds that we've been planting. And over the next year, we're going to start to see the fruits of these seeds that have been planted for quite some time. But now we're going to take an active participatory role in this, or at least a consciousness experience. We're going to have a place of right action, right judgment. We're no longer going to be mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving this Well, see, 12th house means hidden or behind your head. It's not so much hidden as it is going on behind your back. Meaning it might be happening in front of you, but you couldn't perceive it, either because you're not a god, you're human, or because it's at a higher perspective and it might be a vibration, or because it's out of your hands, out of your control. From a higher perspective, there's always hindsight. There's always 2020. Hindsight is always 2020. Foresight, sometimes it's above, sometimes it's below 2020. So the 12th house would talk about, okay, are you coming into your power? Are you coming into your sovereignty? Are you coming into your God sovereign self? Because if you are, God sovereign for yourself. Because if you are, the 12th house really for you means royalty. And then if not, it truly generally means serving God, serve or suffer. So there's been some type of surrender, sacrifice, something going on beyond your control, behind your back, behind the scenes. And it might not come to the forefront now, but the seeds of you recognizing what the foreground and forefront is would be happening now, unless again you're in that royal category. And it means you're ruling from behind the scenes. For whatever reason, this is coming up because I know when I do the astrology, I know at the time of this lunar event, so the moon was full at 5:34, 1700 hours, 34 minutes, Greenwich Mean on the 2nd. And I've been seeing this a lot. In the sidereal time, we have a 4, a 5, and a 6, all in the number. So that means progression. And when we have 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9, it means we're in the collective. Okay. And I have a lot of extra that I do when I do astrology, but it's actually very simple transits. If you take on, I had Lilith and the Vertex and Chiron. I work with the asteroids. I do a bunch of extra, and even I add fixed stars and some other stuff. And I also use more aspects than usual. Okay, so it's a very simple chart. Basically, all that's happening that day is that it doesn't look simple because the way I do it, but there's a Uranus connection. So let's go look at the transits right quickly. And we're still in the crescent moon phase, so it's okay to do this video. You can take, see, on the 2nd, the moon was sextiling Uranus and was conjunct Jupiter and also conjunct the sun. So something is telling me, for whatever reason, don't take this conjunction with Jupiter. Although I do like the numerology here. Is this Greenwich Mean? Yeah, it's Greenwich Mean. Really what I'm noticing is it's in the same sign, because the night before it entered Pisces. And even during this lunar event, okay, the moon is at 12 degrees Pisces. And I'm seeing 126 here, a lot. So when I say 126, it just talks about harmony in all 3 worlds, higher, lower, and the middle world. And also 126, if you add those numbers together, it's number 9. I'm getting number 9 a lot right now. And see, Uranus is sextile with Uranus. See, the 11th house and the 9th house have a lot to do with each other, especially when it comes to father paternity or fraternity, meaning brother, or paternity or fraternity. So I'm getting a lot of information. So let me whittle through this so I don't blab. So on the day of the moon, the lunar event, which was the 2nd, not 6th, what happens is there's also a sextile with Uranus. And we should be aware that Uranus means it's also sextile in the sun then, because if the moon and the sun are conjunct and there's a sextile to Uranus, it means the moon and the sun are sextile in Uranus. It's also saying that it's sextile in Jupiter, which would mean the sun is sextile in Jupiter. So that's a lot. That's, first of all, manifestation. Jupiter, bringing Jupiter into the moon, Jupiter into the sun, that's manifestation. But you see, all this Pisces energy means it's been going on behind the scenes. And Pisces usually is the 12th house. However, when the sun is in Pisces, it's always the 1st house, especially when the sun rises every morning. Okay. So every morning that the sun is in Pisces, that little 29, 30, 31 days there, at sunrise, the rising or the ascendant will be Pisces. not the 12th house like usual, the first house. So all those things going on in the background, all those things going on behind the scenes, all those things that have been out of control, out of your hands. Out of control means there would have been intercession, intervention, interruption there. Like I was saying, there might have been up until now a lot of unknown or unmitigated expenses. They're coming, if not under control, into the foreground, into illumination, enlightenment, enumeration. Something will be manifesting. So something's been going on that it's been slippery, evasive, elusive. That'll shift. Something hidden will come forward. There will be a triumph over a secret. And it might not be like secret, somebody's keeping a secret kind of secret. It might have just been you didn't know, you couldn't understand, you couldn't see it from that perspective. A surrender, a sacrifice. There's been something going on where it would seem like you weren't able to do something or you couldn't get a finger on something. That's gonna shift. I keep getting the energy of wanting to say the words of something that's finally happening. Because you see, what I'm getting right now is, oh, excuse me. You see, what I'm getting right now is there's an alignment. A lot of people are getting to this vibration, or finally the timing is right, where there was all these opportunities, second chances, benefits of the doubt from spirit, from the collective, from the divine, meaning the higher realm or God, as you would call it. I call God the divine, or Mawisa Polisa, Mawalisa. It's almost like we've gotten all the second chances, so now it doesn't matter. The same thing's happening to everybody. For some people, it's going to be a really easy peasy experience because they've kind of prepared thoroughly for this, and other people, it's going to be a buck wild crazy experience. You know, sometimes, like say a natural disaster, some people fare very well, and some people don't. And it sometimes it has to deal with being prepared, and sometimes it has to deal with luck and favor. So over this next kind of couple of weeks on the way towards the equinox, we're being given that time to be on to get ready so we can stay ready. Because after the equinox, all of the people who were sleeping, all the people who were slow, all the late adopters, they're going to be racing to get ready. So a lot of us right now are coming into alignment, and that's what this moon is doing. And we're going to spend a good 6 months coming into alignment, learning how to stay ready, because there's going to be a whole bunch of shifts and changes on the spiritual level come summer, a little bit starting in the spring. And I'm sorry if you're in a different hemisphere, come March. Basically, a little bit come March, mostly come July. Come June, July, ooh. On the collective, everything in this world is going to be shifting and changing. And Pisces is getting us prepared for that. Yeah, there's going to be some forced changes coming. And it's detoxing, elimination. I'm hearing the word centrifuge, I'm hearing the word vermifuge. So vermifuge means to get rid of vermin, to cast them out. It could be getting rid of parasites. It could be ridding your house of rats, extermination, getting rid of different strokes for different folks. But vermifuge literally is like to flush vermin, whether it's parasitic or rodent. I'm hearing the word rodent shell. So when I get spiritually, the sign comes to me of rats or mice. Rats is different. Mice. Something is being spoiled. There's something that's either easy to exploit or being exploited or being lost. You may be exploiting yourself. Typically, if you're exploiting yourself, it has a little bit of laziness in there, and that's specific to mice. It can mean there's external obstacles, but the first obstacle you need to overcome is yourself. And if you're not the obstacle in yourself would be ignorance. So let me reconstitute that. Check to see if there's something that can be stolen from you, if something's being lost, if something's being exploited, if something's just spoiling because it's an opportunity that hasn't been taken advantage of, or see if you are stuck, lazy, stagnant, if things are having the potential for becoming decay. It can just be wasteful. Waste happens in all different ways, monetarily. There's abundance in many different ways, and abundance is not always physical. Abundance is fullness, felicity, fruitfulness. Okay, that's abundance. Whether it's children, whether it's social nature, whether it's money, which ancient money was jewels and gold and cattle. So I'm seeing mouse. And then if it's a rat, the rat would talk about going everywhere and doing everything and not being affected by it. Number one, this world's going to have a lot of dark, also mixed in with the light. It's the times that we're living in. We're in the end times. It's always rumored that during the end times, and there's many end times, it's something that happens again and again and again. You go up, you go down. You go up, you go down. And the wheels on the bus go round and round. So right now, in the great year, the progression of life, the seeding of the races, we're in the darker times, the Kali Yuga, if you would. Usually divinity is very well hidden during dark times. That's mainly what a dark time means. God is not at the top of everybody's mind. Very few people are God-fearing during the end times. Okay, that's what that's talking about. During these end times, basically what it is we pray. And you have your relationship with Great Spirit. Because looking outside of yourself for any type of guidance, any type of clarity, very rarely even, because normally you look outside, when you open your eyes, you look, and when you close your eyes, you see. So when you look outside, what you observe is nothing that you look at is going to reflect anything viable, sustainable back to you. It's all going to be confirmations of shadow and illusion. And so a lot of people right now are coming into the awareness of this is fictitious, this game, this life, this story that we've told ourselves, it's illusionary, it's fictitious. Until you're illuminated, until you have a closer connection with divinity, the divine, you're going to be out, not in the winning pile. So coming into alignment, that's basically what it is. We're going to all get our own individual flashlight to do close examinations of reality. Okay. What we got was whenever I get this, it's like perfect for me. Perfect. Perfected is perfected. It's the key word here. And it means great. You did a great job. Everything's out. So like I was saying, there's a sextile to Uranus. So when the moon and the Uranus sextile, we have a visit from our own soul, our own spirit, our own individual nature, our own eternal self rips some kind of band-aid off, if you would. I almost want to say snatches the veil from our eyes. Something gets spontaneously illuminated. We might have a blinding flash of the obvious, but it's opportunistic. So we have to be willing to take this on. It's not just going to come towards us. It needs to be reached out and grabbed. I do want to say it's very easy because the sun is there too. So it's not just the moon. So when the sun in Uranus, that's a good time for risk taking. It's the full card. Sun in Uranus is the full card. The moon in Uranus is the high priestess. So, like I said, there's going to be some spontaneous blinding flash of the obvious with the moon in Uranus. Okay, well, with the sun in Uranus, also we're going to have the impetus to break out, break free. It's almost like we're barreling forward, having this weird spiritual luck. Excuse me for just a second. We're going to be blessed. And with Jupiter there too, Jupiter, Uranus, the sun is called a boon. So the universe is going to give you one thing that you want. Be wise with what you're asking, but honestly, if you're earnest and yearning towards bigger, brighter, and better, or higher, then that's what you'll achieve, that's what you'll receive, and you will succeed. What do I mean? We have Uranus, the moon, the sun, Jupiter, all kind of in a connection. And it's all harmonious. So the full card I'm seeing, now Jupiter is the wheel of fortune, and in the wheel of fortune energy is Uranus. So Uranus is there very strong with the sun. Jupiter, there's manifestation. With Uranus coming through, Brahma is there, the full card. And you have Moon, Shakti is there. Okay. Now, there's nothing toxic, so Kali wouldn't be coming out, but Shakti is eightfold. Adi Shakti is primordial as well, so it's beyond time. And it's opportunistic. So let's have a look and see what that means. Give me Uranus, please. I need Uranus. Okay, so the Pisces came back. I didn't get Uranus, I got the moon and the sun. So let's have a quick conversation with the moon. Okay, so the moon was going to illuminate inside of ourselves, not outside of ourselves, a path of where we were being guided. Some type of destined path was opening up. And it was just about time. And also another thing with the star card, we have always it's very easy, it's very free flowing because it's sextiles and trines, mainly trines. Trines with the star card, sextiles with the Empress card. So yes, we're moving to this harmonious energy because we're in alignment. So these are opportunities we can take advantage of. Okay, so then the full card said something, so let's go ahead and get that. Okay. So basically it's opening up. Heaven has a moment to open up the door to look at you during all those retrogrades. When planets go retrograde, it depends on the planet, but when planets go retrograde, it's oftentimes like that deity, that divinity going away to judgment, going away to some type of review, and then they come back. So I'm feeling like Pisces is a culmination of a lot of different shadow periods ending. And there was nothing in retrograde. There's a day here, a couple days here where we don't even have any transit. So it's kind of like a rest. And Venus did speak up at some time, not today or not in relation to this, but I remember over the last week during my channeling, Venus had said, hey, I'm kind of harshed out here. My mellow is a bit harsh because there's a lot of aspects to me and things. Let's check in with Venus. I mean, there's a square to Uranus this month and a square to the node. And I know Venus is conjunct for several days, Mars. And Venus is about receiving and it's about a fullness, like I was talking about abundance. And why were they talking about Venus? Well, Venus is the Empress card, and that talks about a trine. I mean, a sextile. Also, the Lovers card. Venus in the Lovers card talks about sextile. Venus in specific talks about harmonious planetary aspects, and the Emperor talks about non-harmonious, disharmonious planetary aspects, like oppositions and squares. Emperor, literally, a square is the Emperor, and then trines and sextiles, that's the Empress. Literally, a sextile is the Lovers card, a trine is the Star card. An opposition is actually the Justice card. A square is the Emperor card. The Empress would talk about harmonious planetary aspects. Up until recently, it's been hard for things to be harmonious. We haven't been able to get all the ingredients to taste well in the dish. The seasoning, we couldn't get it right. Now it's coming together. And different times for different folks, different strokes and stuff. It's like, it's finally kicking in for everybody. Some got it early, some got it right on time, some got it right the first time, and then everybody, it trickles in for. So that's what this is happening. It's almost like the door is opening up for everybody, and now the perspective comes through. And some of us, we were able to be blessed, and some of us had to get knocked around a little bit. But see, blessings are always blessings, but you know, the same thing can happen to two different people and they'll walk away with two completely different experiences. So it is something about perspective as well. Okay, so Jupiter, what Jupiter is doing is it's bringing in the illuminate, it's expanding the manifestation of Uranus in the sun. I'm just going to cycle back through one more time to make sure I have that, I didn't cut the deck properly. Yeah, what Jupiter is doing is actually bringing this consciousness, bringing these events, bringing these blessings, bringing these healings forward. Because typically Pisces is a time of sacrifice. It's deep, deep, great, great, great compassion. You know, I need the well, give me the well. Well energy, well energy. Well energy. Okay. So, but that's Pisces, well energy. I got dolphin, not well. Yeah, it's happier. It's happier. There's a stronger energy in the well. Dolphin is much lighter, much more pure and happy. Well carries a lot of burdens. And well's not coming through. Give me the well, please. Give me the well. Well's not going to come. So we'll go to the dolphin. What was I getting with this whale? Pisces is an energy of sacrifice, deep, deep compassion, femininity, feminine nature. Pisces is one of the 5 royal signs, the other 4 being Leo, Taurus, Sagittarius, Virgo. Pisces is a sign where a lot of the big goddesses live. Those stars, a lot of the big, 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 huge. Like when you see those 1,000-armed goddesses, it means because it's beyond humanity. There's an unfathomable, infinite nature to it. Okay. Yeah. So blessings and benefits and God and miracles, they're all going to be showing themselves now. First, it's going to look like healing, and then it's going to be abundantly, overly obvious. I'm feeling some kind of shift go on right now. Something is finally changing. Something is finally here. I think it's finally here. Spirit has been very gracefully in the background healing us because we've been difficult. We're not tuning in, tapping in right away. Spirit has to kind of nudge us too many times, more than necessary. Yeah, we have a lot going on in the mind. This is in the position here is thoughts, excuse me, scratch that. The position here is emotions and ideas. So it's stimuli. There's a lot of negative stimuli or conditioning programming. It's the stimuli, and we have all these set beliefs. So we are still in these cycles that they're toxic for us now, but before they were maladaptive. They didn't put us on an ascending trajectory. But we have all I was saying those are toxic ideas and emotions. So now we're having all these feelings and thoughts. We're processing those ideas. We're processing those emotions with these feelings and thoughts that are all knowing, that are insightful, and they're insightful to the divine. So now we're able to structure ourselves accordingly. We're going into this restructuring place. The devil wants to speak up, so I'm just going to let him. We were on lower tracks, lower paths before, and a lot of us are now becoming redeemed. The anguish and pain is stopped, is over. We're understanding, recognizing miracles. The suffering, the acceptance, the suffering is over, the acceptance is here. And for those of you who are just starting to come to this energy, you'll be fully in this energy by this month. By the time this month is over, nearly everybody watching this video will experience some type of healing. Now, healing doesn't mean always that you healed, you get to move on. Sometimes healing is an eternal process, but it's lifelong. Society as a whole has to progress. And things that we want are finally going to be coming to us. It's almost like the universe has taken out this prescription pad, and we get to tell the universe the things that are wrong. Not like they already don't know. The universe already ran the tests and the diagnosis, the diagnostics exams. They want to see where we're at. If we can give language or feeling, thought or feeling to the experience we've been having for the last 18 months, for the last lifetime, for the last millennia, since the last eternity, which is 4.32 billion years. They want to see if we know what's going. They know, the universe knows, the goddess knows. They want to see if we know. Because if we don't know, in June, July, it's going to be thrown at us what we need. But we get to ask for what we want right now before they just say, okay, enough, child, you've had enough time. Here's what you need, not what you want. That part happens in June, July. For some of us, the really bad karmic past, that'll start happening in March. Okay, some April. But this is what it is. Okay. Ooh. Grant a moment. Okay. So we went through everything here. Let's check in with the sun right quickly. All right, yeah, there's gonna be some forced energy. There's not a lot we can hide behind. There's not a lot of extra time. There's not a lot of bargaining, none of those things. There's not gonna be much more grace, meaning like a grace period. We're being allowed to realize what happened to us. And if a month from now, a few months from now, we've been wallowing and we haven't made a decision to move forward, meaning there's not something in our mind saying, okay, this sucks, but this is what I want. This sucks, but I'm curious about this sucks, but I'm trying to pivot or I'm going to pivot or I have pivoted. If there's not that, we're in a karmic category because there will be projection. They're saying that we'll be thinking that the fault and the power is in somebody else's hands, and whether it is or it isn't, being empowered means taking responsibility. And there's the spirits, the higher realm, they're looking at in the future when we're stuck and we're choosing to be stuck, they're going to look at that as ethical issues. You think you lack something and you're looking to other sources for it instead of being your own source. They look at that as ethical because it's borderline stealing. And it's not a third dimensional concept and idea right now if we're in the experience we might be, but this, but that, all these yes buts, and not you're right, or how does that work, or small minds blame people, blame things. Average minds blame external events, blame other people. Great minds don't blame. They ask questions of themselves and they ask questions about what's in their control. So there needs to be this willingness or strength or skill or discipline or desire or drive or impetus to keep moving forward, one foot in front of the next, because things will get better, and they will actually get better rapidly, even if the external world or even if the world itself is still falling apart or starts to fall apart more than it is now. Stoicism doesn't always mean not having or showing emotions. It means whatever the experience is, it doesn't matter. You're going to grow through what you go through. So there's a little bit, stoicism can also mean like a bootstrapping, like, oh, it sucks. You had this massive loss and this great offense and this incredible ordeal, and you're still here and you're still going strong, or you're still going on. Yeah, you might have shed a few tears. Yeah, you might have to take a few days of rest. Yeah, you might have had to retreat and come back another day, another time. Okay, but there's this moving forward, moving on. Okay, that's again a form of sacrifice. Me, I'm very bougie. I would love for things to be comfortable, but there's a lot of haters right now. There's a lot of emotional pains just with the recognition, the realization that people didn't always have the best intentions. Once a hater, always a hater. All those times trying to fix things or soothe things, it was really trying to feed a frenemy, trying to give sustenance to something trying to kill you. So that's Pisces. It's this helping their enemy kind of energy. Compassionate to a fault. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're all going through our own individual initiation. That's another thing with Uranus. And we're going to need to see whatever's going on. It might still be the same thing that it always has been, but from different perspectives. There's been too much exploitation. A lot of us have been taken advantage of. A lot of us weren't able to care for ourselves, maybe spiritually. maybe financially, maybe emotionally, maybe mentally. We might not have had good boundaries, good practices, good regimens, good standards, good ethics, good morals, right, whatever that right means, the right path, the right way. There's been a lot of projection, suppression, repression, a lot of draining, a lot of feeding on others, a lot of hacking people up for parts, exploitation, codependency, complaining, haters, haterade. And so we all need this mind, body, soul, spirit healing, transforming, transmuting pain, passion to serve others, the passion to repair, to mend, to heal things, heal others. And healing things means usually emotional or relationship drifts, falling out, having conflict with another person. So those are all the repairing, kind of like apologies and things. There's a lot of different levels of consciousness to mitigate, navigate through. And there's players at every step, usually vampires, but this is completely parasitic. Remember I was talking about a vermifuge before? So there's a lot of energies out there feeding. Now, if they're not feeding or whatever they're doing, a lot of darker forces that are attracted to our light, because if you're in the dark, of course, when a person, a light being walks in, you're going to be attracted to them. We're going through an initiation. Because we've been lost in love. We've been mislabeling, misjudging, misperceiving, or stuck in drama with lovers. This obsessive compulsion or distracted or destructive devotion to others, typically people, but could be places or things. Lovers could also be an addiction, a people addiction versus a thing addiction. There's been a lot of mistreatment. A lot of other people were painting us into corners, and we were so loving. We saw things a certain way, but what it was they wanted leverage over us or control over us. It might have just been some narcissism. So the balancing is coming. The adjustment is coming, and we need to learn to perceive beyond what is right in front of us. Again, that keeps coming up. Seeing beyond, seeing bigger, seeing brighter, seeing better, seeing above the horizon. So I'm ready to pull this oracle card. Pisces came right back out. Yep. But what I will do right now is just okay, so some things are coming forward where we need to gain insight, intellect, reasoning, communication, knowledge, maybe wisdom, understanding. And what comes forward, we're going to have to use our skill, our technique, our technology, our craft, but things may be latent, meaning we'll need to dig deep a little bit. These might be messages that come in harshly. We may not like them. They may be oppositional. They may create a blockage, an obstacle, even if temporarily, or they'll just be coming from a distance. And long enough distance where they can't come knock on our door and tell us right away. They may need to call or text. Now, me, I call my neighbor. We live in the same building. I don't go knock on their door, but it would be some type of communication that's over correspondence, a letter, an email, a text message, a phone call. It wouldn't be face to face. So sometimes If it's none of those things, it'll be clear information, whether it's truthful or not, but clear information about a person, place, or thing. So I'm describing the Page of Cups here. There's a need to expand, to accept, to acclimate some kind of cold, harsh truth. It might be ripping the wool off your eyes. It's not so much that as it is a cold, harsh truth. Because our soul is here, it's asking us to grow. Literally, our divinity comes to find us. Our own soul's nature, true purpose comes to find us. And we need to be willing to open the door. It's not actually what happens, I'm hearing. We're still going to be very slow on this acclimation, on this waking up, even though we're being blessed and gifted a lot of things right now. Because we're unaware of how our intuition works. Our intuition has been warning us of something for years and years and years. And a lot of the difficulties and challenges we had were because we weren't listening to our intuition. And that's shifted and changed just naturally. But there's not an awareness of a skill. This talent is latent right now and needs to become manifest. We need to learn about our own self, our own nature, our own gifts, our own endowment celestially. We have this karmic endowment, this wealth in the heavens. We have it. We have access to it, but it's always been by accident our whole life. And now we're coming into awareness of it and how to manifest from it. What to do at the crossroads. We're learning what to do when we're at a crossroads. Grant me a moment. Nadia Anastasia's Cosmic Activation Cards for the Soul. This is the second time. Strength again. So this is the male ancestors. Maga, I'm hearing. So another thing with Pisces energy and the high priestess as well, you could talk about ancestry, paternity. This is more mother's side. The ancestors need us to expand and to grow. It's time to step into a new energy, a new chapter for the whole generation. It's almost like we were born for these consciousness experiences that we're having, and all the ancestors that have come before have prepared for this moment. This is what makes the whole manifesting, incarnating on Earth through genealogy worth it. Because in our hand, we have a new chapter. So the reason we need strength is because outside the house is some shadow. In the collective, there's a lot of shadow. And we may or may not be aware consciously how we're going and growing through the shadow. However, we keep returning to our own standards and boundaries. We keep communicating with our soul. And now we're becoming more and more and more fearless, having strength, courage, and wisdom each and every single day, more and more and more strength, courage, and wisdom each and every single day, and realizing like we need to be fearless. We need to be in communion with our own eternal nature, our own soul. We can't keep navigating, negotiating through this world with fear or bowing down to whatever society has placed before us as some type of way, as some type of path, as some type of goal that we should be aspiring to. Maybe that goal ain't for us. And we want a bigger and brighter and better. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. We did come into our own power. True power is Shakti. Louge made that quote. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Prayer, Great Spirit, guide me through this period. Give me the insight, the courage, and the strength I need to cultivate the source of strength already within me. This card comes to you to remind you of your inner strength and courage. Although you may be feeling weary and helpless at this time, dear one, do not lose faith and heart. Do not lose faith and heart. You are a lot stronger than you realize. Moving through this chapter of your life, you will understand the lesson of having to release your inner resistance and fears. Okay, now by uncovering your true strength, you will have the courage to move through it with clarity, with understanding, and with compassion. Okay, now? Your prayers for strength have been heard, beloved. Release all fears that are blocking spiritual guidance. Breaking down walls will help you see, dear one, all of the synchronicities and signs communicated to you and within you. The spirit teachers of love, of light, wish only to serve the highest good for all, to offer guidance, to offer love, and to offer reminders of what you already hold within you. You hold so much strength, so much courage, so much determination and perseverance. The first step in uncovering and embracing your true strength is to accept your current state, whether it is vulnerability, whether it is powerlessness, emotional fragility, or whether it is weakness. The second step is surrendering to that universal life force of love. Allow the third step, empowerment, to flow into your life naturally. Strength and empowerment will come. Use this chapter to find your deepest source of strength, to renew your faith, and to be all that you truly are, a spiritual warrior living in conscious freedom. Warrior came out as well earlier. And it was saying a strength to keep moving forward no matter what. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing the privilege and the pleasure to do so. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the energy in the show notes. Take good care until we meet again, until we meet again. Namaste, Dandava, and Ashen. Goodbye, everyone.